Hey, Swaye here, and today we are going to talk about the new upcoming raid, the Wrath of the Machine. I will be giving my thoughts on what I hope the new raid will be, but let's first start with what we know so far. From the released video footage, we know so far that the journey will start at the bottom of the Cosmodrome wall, where you will enter through a big gate like in the Vault of Glass raid. It could be that you start with a mini fight to open a door, or maybe we will start somewhere on the Siva patrol and perform some mechanic to open a door just like in the Vault of Glass. So the second thing we know so far is once you are inside, there will be a jumping puzzle. And it seems like we have a video footage of this where we see Guardians jumping up to the top of the wall in a very tight space. The video footage does not really show what the puzzle mechanic will look like, so I guess we will find out about this once the raid comes out. Okay, so once we're at the top of the Cosmodrome wall, we will encounter what it seems to be the Wrath of the Machine. The boss looks like a huge bulldozer with a wrecking ball moving all over the wall, and it seems that the raid team need to run away in order not to be crushed by the boss. Judging from the video footage, we see the Guardians are firing at what looks to be like the face of the machine, where it looks like cannons or guns are attached to it. So it seems this might be a weak spot that can be destroyed, which can relieve the raid team from some enemy fire while running down the wall. This is all the footage we got so far about the raid. I don't believe the fight at the top of the wall would actually be the final fight, since the designer mentioned the following at the end of the raid footage.
There's something really emotionally powerful about going on a journey, reaching to the top of the mountain and then crashing back down, confined once again.
This makes me believe that the boss encounter on top of the wall might just be our first encounter, and that we escape from the wall to face the boss later on the journey of the raid. The last couple of seconds of the video shows the Guardians what believed to be the bottom of the wall, and then they enter a gate that looks like it's from somewhere within the Warmind. So it seems that the boss fight might actually take place in the Warmind instead. I guess we will find out about this soon enough when the raid comes out. That is so far my analysis of the video footage. Let me give you my thoughts on what I like to see in a new raid. So far the 3 different raids we experienced were all very different. The Vault of Glass is still my favorite raid so far. I love the beginning of the raid where people on patrol could actually help out with opening the door. And I like the dynamic of the boss fight where everyone needs to move around at all times. And there is just a good pace in the journey of the raid. Except for the Gorgon maze. It is still a pain if you go through this maze with a pickup group, as you will need all 6 members of the fight team not to be caught by those damn Gorgons. And sometimes it is just very frustrating if everyone tries the best but still get caught by the Gorgons. And then you will see people slowly leaving the group, and that is just a shame. It really brings down the pace of the raid. That is why you will see a lot of people simply backing down after the gatekeeper encounter, because they simply do not want to go through the frustration of the Gorgon maze. The pace of the raid was better with Crota's End. There is no frustrating part like the Gorgon's maze, and generally it flows very well up to the Crota encounter. And that's what I hope the new raid will have, a good pace, where each encounter builds up the tension for the next encounter without a section that can cause a lot of frustration if one team member messes it up. Let me give you an example what I think the designer have done very well in the Oryx raid. For example, the ship jumping puzzle requires teamwork, but the team won't wipe if one team member did not make the jump. The same goes for the bouncing wall puzzle after the Golgroth fight. It is actually really funny to see the last guy making their way up to the cave entrance, and then to see this person get smashed by the last pillar. This is a fun section of the raid, which allows for the team to ease down and relax a bit before the next fight. So I hope the next raid will have these fun puzzles or sections towards the final boss. Next, I want the raid mechanics to be less restrictive. Let me give you an example. When you are doing the Oryx raid, you will have to follow certain procedures in order for you to be able to damage the boss. And most of the time, each person will be assigned to do a specific task, like standing on a certain place, it be the floater or be the runner. And most of the time, if one person dies, it is nearly impossible to continue the run, and it will be better just to wipe and try it again. If there is one thing that the Oryx raid has taught us, is that there is no hope. If one person dies, the whole plan will fall apart, especially when you are doing hard mode. I want the raid to have less restrictive mechanics so that the fight teams have more freedom and not to feel like a slave that needs to follow certain steps in order to face a boss. And I hope the raid will also be more forgiving. I don't want players to feel like they need to wipe if they lose one team member. First of all, it put an awful lot of pressure on every team member to perform well and not to die. Which is obviously the objective, not to die and kill the boss, but what I am afraid of is that this pressure becomes too much and this will scare away players from doing the raid. I know some players have never played any raids in Destiny before or stopped playing raids because they don't want to be yelled at if they don't know what to do or if they die by accident. And this is a big shame because all of the raids so far are a lot of fun and you will get a sense of accomplishment when you manage to kill the final boss with your team. So the game needs to feel that there is still hope when you lose a team member. So that is what I hope the new raid will bring. A good pace with some fun moments in the middle of the journey, less restrictive mechanics so Guardians will have more freedom on how to finish the raid, and be a bit more forgiving. Basically bring back the hope in the game so that more clutch moments can happen during the raid. Let me know what you are hoping for with the new raid, what do you want to see and what are your expectations. If we get enough responses, I will make a separate video to discuss about your questions and comments. If you are new to this channel, you can subscribe to stay up to date on my latest videos. There will be tons of new videos coming out soon when the Rise of Iron launches. You can expect my in-depth weapon review videos to be back when I get my hands on the new guns. So subscribe if you want to stay up to date on that. Thanks for watching and I will see you again in the next video.